So we'll see the next concept, ratio between compound interest and simple interest. So earlier we saw how to find difference between compound interest and simple interest. So here ratio between compound interest and simple interest. So the question is, find the ratio between CI and SI for 2 years and a sum of rupees 7,000 at 4% for 2 years. So here the sum is given and rate percent is there. So for 2 years we have to find compound interest, and for 2 years we will find simple interest, and simplifying we get the ratio, and we'll see the working. So ratio between compound interest and simple interest is asked. So what is the sum deposited? So it is rupees 7,000. And what is the rate percent? 4%. And number of years is 2. And now with this we can use the I1 I2 concept and we can find compound interest, or using the amount you can find the compound interest, subtracting the principal, and we can find the simple interest using PNR by 100. Suppose we find the compound interest using the amount. So subtracting amount minus principal, you get the compound interest. So what is amount formula? So P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n is the amount, and from this we subtract the principal. And to find for this, it is P into 1 plus, rate is given for 100 and it is for 2 years. So when you take this principal value common, so compound interest is P into 1 plus 4 by 100 the whole square minus 1. So if you find the simple interest, it is P, n is for 2, rate is 4 by 100. So after using this principal as 7,000, simplifying, we get the compound interest, and substituting 7,000 for the principal, we get the simple interest, and ratio, that is quotient. So we have to divide this, CI and SI, will get the ratio. So but when you check here, so when you are finding the ratio, this principal gets cancelled. So without using this data itself, we can find the ratio. And now I will tell you, without doing all this working, how simple you can find the ratio between CI/SI for 2 years. So here compound interest is for 2 years. So P into 1 plus R by 100 the whole square minus 1. So this is CI, and SI will be P into 2 into R by 100. So when you are finding the ratio, this working is independent of the value principal, it gets cancelled. And now when you expand this, A plus B the whole square minus 1, and say divide this by 2R by 100. So finally you will end up with R by 200 plus 1. So when ratio between CI and SI is asked for 2 years, and note that, so note here it is only for 2 years, so just using by the ratio R by 200 plus 1, you can get the ratio between CI and SI, so no need to use the principal, no need to find the compound interest or simple interest. So this will be very useful. So wherever you need this working, so we'll be seeing a few examples using these ratios also. So mostly I suggest no need to remember any formula. So but here when they ask ratio between CI and SI, that is for 2 years, so with the interest alone, so you can find the ratio. So seeing the data within seconds you can find the ratio. The question here is, what is the ratio between CI/SI for a sum of 7,000 at 4% 2 years? So they have asked for 2 years, so ratio will be so within seconds we have got the ratio as 51:50, and the answer is also 51:50. So remember, so when they ask ratio between CISI for 2 years, so just use R by 200 plus 1. So you get the ratio between compound interest and simple interest. And we'll see the next example. So we'll see the next question. So compound interest is rupees 1449 and simple interest is rupees 1400 for 2 years for a given sum. Find the principal and the rate of interest. So in this question, compound interest is given and simple interest is also given for 2 years. And you are asked to find the principal and the rate of interest. So as it is for 2 years, we can use the ratio and we can find the rate and then we can find the principal also. So we'll see the working. So in this question, data is compound interest is rupees 1449. And what is simple interest? It is rupees 1400. And number of years is also 2. And now using the ratio which I gave you earlier, so we can, compound interest, simple interest is known, so we can find the rate percent. So what is the ratio? CI by SI, R by 200 plus 1. So this is for 2 years and the period they have given is also for 2 years. And now substituting for compound interest and simple interest, we can find the rate. So but instead of substituting in this compound interest and simple interest, so first we'll try to simplify this itself. So sending this 1 to the other side equal to R by 200. So when you subtract 1 from a fraction, the numerator will be difference of the numerator and the denominator. So CI minus SI by simple interest. So now this ratio itself I have simplified. So where difference in CISI is the numerator by the simple interest equal to R into 200. So now what is difference between compound interest and simple interest? It is 49 rupees. And what is simple interest? So it is 1400 R by 200. So now simplifying, we get rate. So just we can cancel from here also because both are in the denominators. And what is the rate? 7%. So we have got one answer as rate 7% and we are asked to find the sum deposited. So using this ratio, substituting for compound interest and simple interest, the rate is found. And now what is the sum of the money deposited? So for this you can use the simple interest itself. So what is the formula for simple interest? It is PNR by 100. And what is simple interest? It is 1400. And principal you have to find. And what is N? 2 years. And rate we have 7%. So now sending this here, so we can cancel this, it is 100. The sum of money deposited is rupees 10,000. So here the number of years is 2. So using this ratio, we have made our working easier. So using this ratio, rate is found, and then with the simple interest, we have found the principal. And we'll see one more example. So we'll see the next example. Simple interest on a certain sum for 4 years at 5.5% is rupees 1100. Find compound interest for the same sum for 2 years at 7%. So here simple interest is given for 4 years and rate is 5.5% and simple interest is 1100. So we are asked to find compound interest for the same sum and rate is different, period is also different. So rate is for 7% and period we need for 2 years. So when simple interest is given for any number of years, we can convert it for 2 years. But when compound interest is given for many number of years, it takes time to work out. So here simple interest is given for 4 years. So we can find what is the interest for 2 years, and rate we need compound interest for 7%. So they have given 5.5%. So we will find what is the simple interest for 7%, and then using the ratio you can work out. So here 4 years 5.5%, simple interest is 1100. So with this we can find the sum and proceed by our I1 I2 concept also. So but using the ratios we will see how easily we can work out. So the simple interest given is rupees 1100, and the rate percent is given as 5.5%, and number of years is 4 years. So compound interest is R, simple interest is known, compound interest is R. So using the ratio for CICA for 2 years we can find out. So but first we have to convert the simple interest for 2 years for the required rate, that is 7%. So this 1700, so when you divide it with 4, you get simple interest for 1 year. So instead of dividing and proceeding further, so everything will put in a single stretch. So working will be easier. So 1100 for 4 years. So dividing by 4 we get for 1 year. And we will find what is the amount for 2 years. So into 2. And now rate is 5.5%. So dividing this again with 5.5, the interest is got for 1%, and the required rate is 7. So into 7 we get simple interest for 2 years and 7%. So we will see what will be the simple interest. So to eliminate this 0, so multiplying with 10 in the numerator and in the denominator, so we can eliminate the decimal. So 11, 5 is 55, and here it is 1000. So 2 times. So 2 times 4. So 2 into 5 is 10. So we can cancel the 0. And simple interest got is 7 into 100, 700. So we have got simple interest 700 for 2 years at rate 7%. Now what is compound interest for 2 years at 7%? So using the ratio we can find compound interest for 2 years at 7%. So compound interest is not known. Simple interest is 700. So rate is 7 by 200 plus 1. So which is equal to 207 by 200. So compound interest is 207 into 700 by 200. So by cancelling this, we get compound interest for 2 years at 7%. So 207 into 7 is 1449. So dividing by 2. So compound interest is 724.50. So we have found the compound interest for 2 years 7% with the required data using the ratio. So we'll see the next concept.